going to govern Gaza? How can they convince Hamas to disarm? We have in just the last few days heard Hamas calling on its fighters to mobilize. 7,000 fighters, we understand, were called up by Hamas to try to fill the gaps that the IDF had withdrawn from inside Gaza. Now, that could be just propaganda. We don't even know if they've got 7,000 fighters left. That's an extremist group, perhaps trying to destabilize this very, very delicate process. But nevertheless, they are still a potent force. So how exactly is that going to happen? And what of this international stabilization force? Who are the Arab and Muslim nations who are going to volunteer individuals to go into Gaza, one of the most dangerous places in the world, and try to secure this place? But I'm just looking at this picture, David, of this woman brought to tears waiting for news. I've spent a lot of time in Israel the last couple of years, and it's just extraordinary to see this. This situation, the hostage situation, has held Israel in a chokehold, and it is no exaggeration to say finally Israelis can now breathe. Everyone in that country knows someone, knows of someone, is related to someone who's been deeply, directly affected by this, either taken hostage, injured in the attack, killed in the attack, or knows someone fighting and has been fighting inside Gaza for the last 2 years. So this is a tremendous, tremendous moment. And we talk about the hostage families as a group, but I think it's really important to remember the individual horrific experiences that each of these families have had to go through. Some of them didn't even have any word from their loved ones until only a few months ago. From October 2023, they did not know if they were alive or dead until some of them saw them being paraded on the backs of Hamas vehicles around Gaza. Many had to just go on the word of other hostages who've been previously released. Many, we know, have been very seriously injured while in captivity, some losing limbs. In one instance, I think losing an eye. These are life-changing moments for so many of these families, for all of these families. And it is extraordinary to witness all this, hopefully for the Israelis at least, coming to an end. David?
James Longman witnessing this unfold right here with us. James is in Egypt. James, stay with us here. You heard James point out that striking image on the screen, a woman holding her face in her hands as the tears streamed down her face. We have seen that a number of times in Hostage Square here in Tel Aviv. And James, as you were saying, so many of the families here had no idea. They have simply prayed for 2 years straight. And for those who did get a glimpse of their loved ones, often it was in a video posted by Hamas. And of course, their loved ones under duress in the messages that they would deliver. And in fact, so many back in the States have followed the story of Hirsch Goldberg Poland, his parents, Jonathan and Rachel, who I talked with just a day or two after that October 7th attack. I was back in the same park with them last night. Their son will not be coming home. And James, it was heartbreaking because they saw video of their son as recently as April, speaking to camera, talking about how he wanted to come home, talking about the love he wanted to send to his parents and to his family. Hamas knew that he was an American, an Israeli American, the power of that message, and then they would lose him a short time later. They told me, though, that this is still a blessed day. They are happy for the families who have become their family, but certainly bittersweet for so many families who will not get their loved ones back today.
David, you say it so well, because the Hostage Families Forum became such a potent force in Israel. Families who had already secured the release of their loved ones remained. They went back every day. There were offices in close to Hostage Square, which is being talked about as Hostage Square now in Tel Aviv. And they went back day after day. They held vigils every night. They went outside Benjamin Netanyahu's home. They pushed. They reached out to politicians all over the world. And of course, they forged that relationship with Donald Trump after he came to office, because they knew they needed to leverage power. And that has been an extraordinary thing to witness.
James Longman with us from Egypt all morning long here, shortly before 9 a.m. here, Israeli time. We have just learned, just coming into us now, that the Red Cross says 7 hostages have been handed over to them. They are making their way to the IDF, which of course is the Israeli military. They're in northern Gaza. This transfer has begun. They will be transferred to the Red Cross later and then taken to hospitals that are waiting to check their medical conditions and, of course, most importantly, families at those locations, the hospitals, waiting to get the first glimpse of their loved ones. I want to go right back down to Hostage Square because, Ian, I understand that the people gathered there have been told that there is a list of Israeli hostages. The U.S. believes there are 20 still alive, and that 7 Israeli hostages are in transit. The first 7 of those 20 who are still alive are, in fact, on their way home right now.
That's right, David. And actually on the screen here, we've been seeing images of the Red Cross driving through Gaza City, we believe with the hostages on board. In fact, Israeli media are certainly mentioning the names of those hostages. 3 of them taken from the Nova Music Festival. Remember that party that was going on when Hamas attacked, over 300 people killed, over 40 taken hostage. Well, we believe at least 3 of those taken hostage who are still alive are part of that convoy heading back. 3 others were taken from some of the kibbutzim who are on the border, as we know. They sustained terrible attacks on that day of October the 7th. And the final member is believed to be a member of the Israeli military who was in his tank when he was taken. They've certainly named them. We're not doing that at the moment, but the response from the crowd has been absolutely electric. David, you've been down here. You know what it looks like. And there's a board here that keeps a time for how long the hostages have been in custody. And it now reads 737 days, 3 hours, 21 minutes, and is just ticking over into 22 minutes. And Israelis have felt every single minute, every single second of that. It's like real life has been suspended in this country while the hostages are being held. We're seeing hostage families being released, being interviewed right now. The families are waiting. Many of them have gathered around Re'im, which is down on the border. The Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu went there yesterday to review the procedures. We're expecting that when they're released, the first thing is medical assessment, obviously reunited with their loved ones. As you say, there are 3 hospitals on standby, any serious cases, and there won't be any process of reunification with the families. They will then be choppered straight to the hospitals for medical care. But I can't tell you, having been here for 2 years, having been through so much sadness in this country, it's amazing to be here on a day when people are genuinely joyous. There's a lightness in the air. People feel that this long living nightmare may finally be coming to an end. David?
Ian Pannell, our chief foreign correspondent, who has been covering this war from the very start with us. Ian, I so appreciate your reporting here on what is such a pivotal morning in this story. The 7 names, the first 7 that have been transferred, who are on their way home at this hour, have been confirmed. And I'm going to read the 7 names for those who are watching our coverage around the world here this morning. Matan Engrist, Gali Berman, Ziv Berman, they are brothers who were taken captive. Guy Gilboa Dalal, Omri Moran, Eitan Abraham Moore, Alan Ohel. Those are the 7 names believed to be the first 7 of these 20 still alive on their way home. And I want to bring in our chief global affairs correspondent, Martha Raddatz, because Martha, the Berman brothers, their family never gave up hope that they would come home. And this morning, even though they're not officially back in Israeli hands yet, we'll confirm that on the air when we have confirmation. But I can only imagine what this must be like for the Berman family.
Exactly, David. And they were from Kfar Aza, the kibbutz near Gaza. They were taken, their homes destroyed. I was there, as you were, at another kibbutz just days after the massacre, saw Ziv and Gali Berman's home at the time. And I was there a year ago as well, talking to their older brother, Liran, who said there are never really good days in our lives. He was suspended, he said, between joy and despair. But when he heard the news of this peace agreement and that the brothers may be released, I cannot imagine what he is feeling right now. There were 60 people in that kibbutz killed, 19 of them taken hostage. You see the Berman brothers there, so alive, so happy in those pictures. One of the things Liron told me, and I saw him just a week ago on the anniversary, on the 2-year anniversary, and he was so hopeful. He said his life's mission, this is my life mission, to get my brothers home. He said it is a roller coaster of emotion. We have done everything we can. We don't have good days. We have okay days, but mostly it's keeping focus on the mission. His mission, it sounds like, is complete. His brothers, we were told, were injured. I spoke to a released hostage a week ago, Keith Siegel. He said he saw the brothers. They were kept separately, but he did say they had been injured, David.
Our chief global affairs correspondent, Martha Raddatz, who was on the ground here in Israel just days after the October 7th attack. Martha, having reported on so many of the families here, and among them the Berman family. And as I mentioned moments ago, the brothers who were held separately while in captivity, as Martha underscored there, Gali Berman, Ziv Berman, among the first 7 hostages to be released. Again, it's our belief this morning, according to U.S. administration officials, that there are 20 Israelis still alive. An additional 28, their remains are expected to be brought home as well, though perhaps not in this first window of time. We'll continue to follow that as well. You're watching ABC News Live coverage.
Amanda Riley was a mother, wife.
Everybody loved her.
I heard the words, "You have stage 3 blood cancer."
We gave our hearts, our prayers.
We thought she was God's gift, but she was a liar.
Why would somebody fake cancer?
There's all these pictures of her in the hospital with IVs, tubing. It was only a matter of time until Amanda's whole world came tumbling down.
Oh my God!
Scamanda. All episodes now streaming on Hulu.
Hey, help! My fiance's on the floor with blood everywhere. Please hurry. There's a knife sticking out of her heart. Oh no!
Philadelphia medical examiner initially ruled Greenberg's death a homicide before switching it to suicide.
How was this ruled a suicide? It just does not add up.
Everyone realized how strange and twisted this case was.
If you want to get away with a homicide, have it declared a suicide.
Death in Apartment 603. What happened to Ellen Greenberg? Only on Hulu.
You're watching America's #1 streaming news. Keep streaming with ABC News Live.
Breaking overnight on World News Now, the day 2 years in the making, the release of 20 Israeli hostages. It's part of a ceasefire deal with Hamas, brokered by the Trump administration. President Trump there to greet the hostages after declaring the war is over. In exchange, Israel releasing hundreds of Palestinian prisoners.
We'll also look at what's next. President Trump and other leaders set to meet about that today. Will Hamas disarm? Plus how to provide essential aid to the population of Gaza. How to rebuild after years of war. And is there a chance to reshape the Middle East? We're tracking it all this morning.
Also this morning, the powerful storm hitting right now, bringing days of rain and wind to the Northeast. Flights delayed or canceled. New York's Columbus Day Parade called off.
Former NFL quarterback Mark Sanchez breaking his silence on the fight that ended with him